Okay, we're going to take notes in our notebook. So I need you to open to page 80. On page 80, it says in the directions that you're going to write about area. Let me look real quick. Sorry. You're going to write area worksheet. So we're going to put our other area stuff there. So make sure you did that. And now we are on page 81. On page 81. And this is going to be our volume notes. So I'm actually doing this on April 1st. No April Fools, right? All right, so you're going to write your notes here for volume. Okay, so volume is the number of cubic units so it's the number of cubic units or cubes inside a 3D shape, which is a three-dimensional shape. I just don't want to have to write out dimensional. It's a hard word to spell. Okay, so it's the number of cubes or cubic units. Let's put units right here. Inside a 3D shape. So volume is measured in cubes, basically. So it's measured in cubes. Okay, in the intro video, I started talking to you about what the formula means. So V equals capital B times H. Right? So let's just put a little time sign there. So of course V is the volume. B, the capital B. A lot of kids want to say it's the base, but it's not the base. The base is a shape. Okay, the base of a prism is a shape. The capital B stands for the area of the base. The more that you practice saying that the capital B is the area of the base, the more like it is you're going to remember it. Okay, so it's real important that you don't say base times height, because that's how you find the area of a rectangle, right? And we're not finding area, we're finding volume. And to find volume, you need to know the area of the base, and the H is the length of the height of the prism. That's important because when you get into 7th grade, you have to learn how to find the volume of a triangular prism, and the triangle has a height too, and it's different than the height of the prism. Okay, so let's just draw us a little rectangular prism here the best we can. This is the way I do it. I draw a rectangle. And different people do it different, but I draw a rectangle. And then from the 3 corners, the top 2 corners and then this one at the bottom, I draw a line straight back. And I try to draw them parallel to each other. It doesn't always work out, right? And then I connect them in the back. It's not perfect in the least bit, but it works. Okay? If you wanted to, you could kind of draw like the little dotted lines there. Like that. Okay? So if you have, well, you can just shade it with your pencil. Right? But I'm going to take my color pencil. I'm going to shade this part right here. That part right here represents the area of the base. Okay? So, let's just put an arrow, right? That's the area of the base. So we're trying to figure out how many cubes can fit in there, okay? How many cubes can fit in there? And the side of a cube we know is a square, so that by finding the area, how many square units are there, we can know the cube. So let's say that this side right here, let's say is 5 centimeters, and this side right here is 6 centimeters. So to find the area of that base, the base is a rectangle, right? So the area of a rectangle is base times height. So the length of the base is 5, the length of the height is 6, so the area of the base is 5 times 6, which is, let's scoop this up, make sure you can see it, which is 30 centimeters squared, right? Now we got to multiply it times. So to do volume, we have to do the area of the base times the height. Let's say the height is 3 centimeters. So our volume, what was the area of our base? You don't really need to do it now, but when you get into 7th grade, you're going to have to find volumes of different kinds of prisms. So you put the shape of the prism around the capital B, so it reminds you what it is, right? So you're finding the area of the rectangle, and the area of the rectangle we know is 30, right? So we can draw that like that, 30. And then the height is the 3. You can draw an arrow for that too, right? So 30 times 3, so 3 times 3 is 9. So it'll be 90 cubic centimeters for the volume of the whole shape. Okay? Now, some of you might be thinking, but Miss Johnson, we've been doing this since 3rd grade. Maybe 4th grade. Actually, I think you started learning about volume in 3rd grade. And in 3rd grade, your formula that you learned was length times width times height. Length times width times height. Well, look at this. Length is 5, width is 6, so 5 times 6 times 3. 5 times 6 is 30, and 30 times 3 is 90 centimeters cubed. So this formula that you learned in 4th grade and 5th grade, still works perfectly. Okay, it still works perfectly. In fact, this right here, length times width, is how you find the area of a rectangle, right? So those two are completely the same. This capital B for the rectangular prism really is just length times width. So when you see a rectangular prism on your test and it's asking you to find the volume and you want to do length times width times height, you go right ahead. Because you know what? It works. Not just on a test, on anything if you need to find the volume of a rectangular prism. You can say length times width times height because that's the formula. Your chart just gives you the area of the base times the height because they're trying to get you to remember what this capital B is. Okay, the capital B is what it means. Okay, it's going to be real important for you being able to find the area of different prisms, okay, later in your math classes. Okay, all right, so those are our notes on volume, and you're going to do some practice pages on that. Okay, so go ahead and make sure you have all of this written down in your notebook on page 81.